today's launch. We've got some great views of the transporter erector, the truss structure to the right of the vehicle, retracting away to get into the launch position. Now, in addition to driving the cost of access to space down with reusable vehicles, SpaceX is targeting at least 3 dedicated rideshare flights to sun-synchronous orbits per year to provide small satellite operators competitive pricing and increased flight opportunities and flexibility. The demand for rideshare missions continues to rise, and so we've expanded to accommodate even more small sats looking for rides to orbit. Later this year, we're going to be launching the second bandwagon mission, a separate line of rideshare missions that will deliver spacecraft into mid-inclination orbits rather than transporters' sun-synchronous orbit. These mid-inclined orbits are appealing to a growing number of customers, especially those who want to do remote sensing missions that strengthen coverage over parts of Asia and the Middle East. Now, rideshare significantly increases the access to space for small satellite operators around the world, and we're really excited to be able to offer these opportunities for our customers. If you want more about these and opportunities to orbit, visit spacex.com/launches. We had a couple of callouts there indicating that LOX load is complete on the second stage. So at this point, propellants...
Stage 2, LOX load is complete.
Oh, there it is. We have a couple of callouts during the start of the broadcast to indicate that our fuel and oxidizer are fully loaded. As we're getting into the final 90 seconds of the countdown, we're going to see some venting from the transporter erector, clearing out the lines in preparation for launch. And then at about T-minus 1 minute, Falcon 9 will transition into startup, pressurizing for flight, and then we'll get into our final go for launch.
Falcon 9 is in startup. LD is go for launch.
Launch director pull for launch. Just about 35 seconds from liftoff. All systems go. Range is green. Let's watch transporter 11.
30 seconds. T-minus 15 seconds. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. And liftoff of Falcon 9. Go transporter 11.
Vehicles pitching downrange.
MOD chamber pressure nominal.
.45 seconds into flight. Beautiful
Power and telemetry
view
nominal
of the California coast at Vandenberg. We've cleared the tower and the Launch Complex 4 East. We've begun throttling down those Merlin 1D engines on the first stage in preparation for max Q.
Falcon 9 is supersonic.
That's the point of maximum aerodynamic stresses during ascent.
Max Q.
And with that, we've got 5 events coming up back to back. The first of those is going to be main engine cutoff, or MECO. That's where we'll shut down all 9 of the Merlin 1D engines in preparation for stage separation. The center pusher will separate the first and second stages. Simultaneously, the first stage will begin a flip maneuver to start making its way back for its landing attempt, while the second stage starts up its Merlin vacuum engine for SES-1 to take our transporter satellites to orbit. Finally, there'll be the start of the boostback burn on the first stage. That's going to be the first stage lighting its Merlin 1D engines to make its way back towards land and a land landing at landing zone 4. So coming up, MECO, followed by stage SEP, the flip maneuver, second engine start, and boostback.
Main engine cut off.
Stage separation confirmed.
MVAC ignition.
Stage 1 boostback startup.
So successful confirmation, second engine start is on its way, taking the payloads to orbit. Coming up, just about 10 seconds from now, we're going to expect to see fairing separation.
Fairing separation confirmed.
And there is successful confirmation of fairing separation. You can also get a good view of the payloads flying on today's mission. And a great shot there, you can see a fairing half returning back towards the California coast. As a reminder, we will be recovering those fairings and refurbishing them for use on a future mission. Now, next major milestone is boostback shutdown on the first stage.
Stage 1 boostback shutdown.
And with that, the first stage is making its way back towards its next major activity, which will be the entry burn starting at around the T+6 minute mark. You can see the grid fins deploying on the first stage. We're seeing some white gas there. That's expected on the left-hand side of your screen. Those are our attitude control system that is helping orient the stage to get the heat shield pointed in the right direction for the upcoming entry burn. Now, the Merlin vacuum on the right-hand side of your screen is in the first of 4 planned burns for today's mission. This first burn is getting the transporter satellites into their insertion orbit. This burn expected to last until just past T+8 minutes.
Falcon 9 is on a nominal trajectory.
Now we're just about 50 seconds from the start of the entry burn on the first stage. Now the entry burn is used to slow down the vehicle as we start getting into the denser parts of the Earth's atmosphere. That helps us slow down the vehicle a little bit faster than if we were just using the drag from aerodynamic forces, and that would add a bunch of stress to the vehicle. So this helps us make the entry a little more gentle and helps us to refurbish and reuse the boosters more easily for future missions. Following the entry burn, we'll expect to do a landing burn, but that'll be much closer to our landing zone.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
And there's a successful
Stage 1
startup
entry burn shutdown.
and shutdown of the entry burn 3 of the Merlin 1D engines. Now the stage is going to be orienting itself towards its next major milestone, which is going to be the landing burn. We'll ignite just a single Merlin engine.
Stage 1 FTS has safed.
Now that landing burn will rapidly bring the stage's speed down to 0. Landing legs will deploy and we'll hopefully
Nominal
see a
trajectory.
nice soft touchdown at landing zone 4. That's just a short distance away from the launch pad. It'll mark the 12th flight and recovery for this
Stage 1
booster if we're
transonic.
successful.
Stage 1 landing burn. Landing leg deployed.
And
Stage
that
1 landing
marks the
confirmed.
12th landing for this booster. It marks SpaceX's 340th
Stage 2
landing
internal
of an
guidance.
orbital class rocket. Next up, just about 20 seconds, will be the Merlin vacuum shutdown, SECO, second engine cutoff number 1.
Stage 2 FTS has saved.
MVAC shutdown.
And there is successful shutdown of the Merlin vacuum engine for the insertion orbit.
Nominal parking orbit.
And that call out indicating that we are in the target orbit for insertion of today's mission around planet Earth. So with that, the next event is going to be coming up at around the T plus 50-minute mark. That'll be the second engine start for the second time of our Merlin vacuum engine. We'll be back around in about 40 minutes to bring you live coverage of SES-2, followed shortly after by the beginning of our payload deployments. So until then, enjoy the views from space, and we'll talk to you soon.
Good.